Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 140 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co-hosts.
My name is Craig, and I am wearing a Giants jersey, so make fun of me, watchers. And now that you listeners know, you can make fun of me too.
My name is also Craig, and I am wearing an Eagles sweatshirt. You can't make fun of me. They've only lost once.
To Taylor Heineke.
No.
It's true. Listen,
Yeah,
you gotta lose at least one, so I'll take it.
Yeah, if there was one game to lose, that was it. But you know what we haven't lost is the news for this week. The news is always accounted for and always wins.
Undefeated,
yes.
Yeah, the news is undefeated.
So I pretty much have a little bit of, I guess, Sony fanboy here, I guess, news-wise. I have Sony making a multiplayer Horizon game. Spider-Man 2 coming to PS5 in 2023. And God of War is getting an Amazon Prime show. How do I feel about all this? Overall, like, the Horizon game I'm pretty excited for. That world is pretty large, probably be fun to play with a friend in. God of War getting an Amazon Prime show. Cory Barlog is overseeing it, so all I can hope for is that it's good. And Spider-Man 2, like, they needed their big system seller for next holiday season. There you go. You have it for next holiday season. That game will sell consoles without much of an issue.
Yeah, it's fall 2023, right?
Yes, fall 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the God of War TV show thing, can they do this without using Christopher Judge?
Like
I
legally?
No, but I just mean in general,
or morally.
like because I'm assuming it's live action, right?
Yes.
So I know he doesn't look like Kratos, but I don't know how you do that show and not have that voice, you know? But he's not really an actor, is he?
I don't think so. He can pull off the jawline if they really wanted to dress him up. Oh,
yeah.
Barry's got a take.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's the first thing I thought of was like, can you pull this off without him doing the voice? And I don't know who they use to model Kratos, if anybody. I don't think they're modeling it after anybody's face. But you're going to have a hard time, in my opinion, pulling this show off live action and having it be anything remotely decent. At least I don't think so.
I have to color myself skeptical as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot to live up to. When you played the games, they were essentially playing like a TV show or a movie anyway.
Yeah.
And they pulled it off pretty well. And Kratos' voice, as of late, it has been quite iconic, specifically, the Judge voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they could find a way to mimic that at least a little bit, I think that's one less thing for fans to complain about. But I feel like we're all just going to be watching this, waiting to tear it apart.
Yeah.
Is essentially what we're going to do.
Yeah, my hopes aren't necessarily very high for this TV show, and I think that's just because of my skepticality as to what God of War is. God of War isn't something that, you can make a video game, a TV show out of, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You have to dramatize a lot of events, and you have to, in a lot of ways, add a lot of dialogue to it, more so than ever before. The most recent two feel that way for sure. The most recent two could probably be made into a TV show without too much going back and forth. But how do you explain Kratos without going to his beginning?
Yeah.
So that's my issue there. And those early games were just him yelling at the gods and then you running around just slaughtering, and I mean slaughtering, tons of, enemies, whether it was fiends, Medusas, centaurs, doesn't matter. You were slaughtering all of them. So unless like it's just going to be him doing that, I have a hard time thinking how they're going to write the narrative if you're starting at the 1, 2, and 3 sort of option there, where you could adapt 2018 and Ragnarok, but you're missing all of the prequel stuff in my eyes, and that's a big part of Kratos' history.
I think their best option is to go with the lore around the first couple games. I
Yeah.
think that plays the best for a TV show, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
what else? Yeah, what else would you do? Would you do the filler between 3 and God of War 2017 or 19 or
I
whatever?
I,
Like
18.
I think you just
18.
go with
Nice.
Kratos
Thank you.
going against Mount Olympus. Personally, that's what I would want to see. That's what I would do if I was writing a TV show for God of War, because I think that's the most compelling in a movie slash TV show form, as opposed to trying to do the later ones with Atreus. I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah,
I feel like
it'll be difficult to pull off, but Amazon has a lot of money, so maybe they just pay to make it good. I've got no clue. And at least Cory Borlog is watching over it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
I just in my mind I see this show and then I flash back to the Halo TV show and I just shudder. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I that's what I foresee is that level of bad.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when we see some early footage or early, because like, isn't that what happened to Witcher? We were all kind of pretty skeptical, and then
Yep,
we like saw what they were doing with it, and people were like, "Oh, I can get excited for it."
true.
Could be how this
Or the
goes.
Last of Us. We were skeptical about that, and that looks phenomenal.
So far, we still yet to
Yeah, so
see.
far.
Yeah. And then lastly for me is Pokemon is going to have a new protagonist. After the past 2 weeks or about a month or past 2 weeks to a week now, Ash has become Pokemon champion, completed finally his what seems to be 22-year run of trying to become the very best like no one ever was, and then he finally did it. And now there's going to be an 11 episode epilogue series, seems to be going through Ash maybe finishing up some stuff with Brock and Misty, and then they showed a picture of the two new protagonists that are going to be coming to Pokemon. Overall, I'm excited. If I feel like a lot of people who don't watch Pokemon had a lot to say about this. I feel like for the most part, there's a ton of people that are going, "Oh no, don't change Ash." I'm sorry, but like, when's the last time many of these people watched Pokemon?
True.
I think I think for the most part it makes sense. There's a lot of older people now who are definitely like seen Ash, grew up with Ash. Yeah, their kids grew up with Ash, but now the next generation of Pokemon fans kind of get to grow up with a new protagonist
Yeah.
and get to see that one sort of grow up. And maybe even then, you may still see Ash in the next Pokemon series, and depending on what he does. But overall, it's going to be a really probably sweet scene to see, just like the final episode of Pokemon. I grew up hard on Pokemon, so I'll be watching the 11th episodes, and they've already kind of leaked one of what's going to happen, and it was like, oh god, I'm not emotionally ready for this. So
Didn't they say also that Pikachu would be retiring as well?
yeah, it kind of depends. The new generation of Pokemon has kind of two like Pikachu type
Mm,
of Pokemon, so maybe they
Mm,
decide to do something with that instead. But or you just have a different Pikachu, just not Ash's
yeah.
Pikachu, it's someone else's.
yeah.
So it's kind of all over there. Pokemon probably wants a new mascot to sell new stuff to. And Pikachu for 20 some odd years has been the mascot for a long time. So, and there's definitely
Hmm.
mascot potential in these new Pokemon that are in the newest game. So, best of luck to all that. And I am just excited to see what the kind of finale is. A part of me hopes that they just do like the original song or something playing in the background
Oh yeah.
of the final
Hmm.
episode or something like that. That'll definitely bring maybe a tear to my eye. We'll see.
You're talking about the rap, right? You want the rap?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
the
do
rap.
I don't care if it's a
Nice
single
throwback.
episode of the Poke Rap going through
Yeah.
every single Pokemon in existence
Oh,
now. I'd be a
nice.
okay with that too. That
You know
is
what I really want is like a couple years from now, removed from Ash, and we're on this new protagonist, just to have him show up like older,
yeah,
like an
yeah.
adult.
Yeah,
That would be so cool to me.
that
You
would be
know,
cool.
just to like whenever is it a girl, the new protagonist? Or not?
There's a girl and a male.
Okay.
The girl is front and center, so she
That's what I
probably
thought.
will be. them, but they may just kind of co-anchor, I guess, maybe that
Right.
co-protagonist.
Just like
Okay.
some sort of issue where like she can't figure something out and then she stumbles upon an old Ash to help her out would be so cool.
Yeah. Hopefully he's in like a hut,
Yeah.
maybe. Just like he had
Hanging
to
out in the
escape the
corner of
fame.
the
Yeah.
hanging out in the corner of a Poke Center.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm
so
not
cool.
that man anymore. I'm not that man.
He's got a scar over his eye somehow.
Yeah. It's
It's
not
like
the Ash I heard about.
It's like Kratos at the beginning of Ragnarok. You just see him in a cave, just looking at a Pokeball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be
It's the
so good.
scene. It's the scene that Craig was talking about that like really hits home where you just see him and he looks like old.
Yep.
Remember when you were talking about
Yep.
that scene where you were like wow, Kratos has been through some stuff. You can tell it'll be that.
I mean, either that or give me like when they get to the Elite Eight and it's him at the end or something. Like that would be cool.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for pretty much everything on the list here. Just lastly, it goes to show that FIFA was right and Barry was wrong. As of today, December 18th, Messi has finally won the World Cup. So good on him.
Yes.
Yeah, go Messi, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent.
We can't act like he didn't deserve a World Cup win.
True.
He's also 35, so
Yeah,
that's just my
he carried one of the worst, probably like Argentinian teams he's had. So it's kind of funny that they don't have the talent that previous years had, and he was able to win it. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
good on him. That game was really exciting though. I didn't get to
Yeah.
watch it, but everybody I talked to said that was one of the best soccer matches they'd watched. So
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody. No, I haven't watched a lot of soccer in my lifetime, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody take over a game in a 2-minute span more than Mbappe did. That was
Yeah.
insane,
yeah,
insane. But yeah, it was a good game. Congrats to Argentina.
Yeah.
All right, we can let's kick it back to Amazon because everybody loves Amazon. We have a new Tomb Raider that just got announced from Crystal Dynamics, and it's going to be published by Amazon Games. So I know Amazon Games has done stuff in the past, and they have not fared too well. But I feel like this has to be the most high-profile thing they've done, right? Tomb Raider.
In my memory, yes, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
They had put out like a little presser, Crystal Dynamics did, and they said it would be a single player experience. So I think more along the lines of what are used to. I know the last Tomb Raider wasn't really well received. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed every single
Mhm.
one of the rebooted Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I am all aboard for more of that.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of the more refreshing reboots,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't sure if it was going to if it was going to actually be good, and it was it was quite refreshing to see those. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah. And then the last piece of news that I thought was very, very interesting is the PS5 as we know it is set to go away as far as the digital version and disc version. Sony is going to a modular option for the PS5, as in you can buy your PS5 and also buy a disc drive separate if you want the disc drive. From what I was reading, because I was trying to like scour this news article as far as what's confirmed and what's not. From what I'm reading, it seems like they are going to switch to one version, which would be without the disc, and you have to buy the disc separately and just completely doing away with the digital and normal versions. Um, I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't
What do you
either.
guys think?
I I'm not sure. Like, what is this move? Is this a monetary move or
It's
is
got to be
this?
production costs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, and to be fair, like a lot of people like do buy their games digitally now, so they
right.
don't need the disc. And if you still want the disc, I guess my main thing is you're probably still charging $100 for that disc drive,
At
and
least.
Hmm.
now like for me, it would kind of feel cheap in a way to have like a disc drive like connected via USB C.
I don't think,
Like,
Yeah.
again, I was trying to scour. It doesn't seem like that's the thing. It seems like it's going to like pop the case off, put the disk drive internally into your system, put the case back on, like you do with the hard drive.
Interesting.
Ooh,
Okay.
so like one extra step during the setup of your
Correct.
PlayStation
So it's
5. Okay.
not so it's not like something that's hanging out next to your PlayStation. It will be internal, but it's an extra step. I guess I looked at it as like this is a way for them to sell the PlayStation and be like, look, now it's $400 instead of $500,
Yeah,
but not
exactly.
like
Yeah.
specifying that you're not getting the disc drive.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
and now
definitely
all
the
you have
marketing
to do
move
is
there.
all you have to do is produce the unit, the internal unit, instead of
Yep.
producing a whole nother console. It's just a way
Yep.
to cut costs. And it's actually kind of smart in Sony's mind. I hate giving Sony credit for this, but when
Hmm.
it comes to like
Yeah.
business production wise, you're just now creating one modular console and
Yep.
then having a disk drive in which hopefully you're able to make it pretty consumer friendly. There's going to be a ton of people who are too afraid to touch this thing and are going
Exactly.
to or are going to break it and mess up their console. So that's the part I worry about, because
Yeah.
you always have like a ton of teenagers and stuff can usually handle it, but you have like adults who bought their console for their kid and goes, oh, I don't know how to put this on,
Yep.
and then it's
Hmm.
got to be something with the bottom plate, like a bottom
Yeah.
plate comes off. You get
What
this new
about
bottom plate with a disc, maybe.
like on a if you think on like a desktop PC, they have like the drive bays that have like the plastic piece you just remove,
Yeah,
and then you can
Mhm.
put a drive in. It could be something like that. But
maybe.
I also look at it as you're gonna have so many people who are like buying this for their kid, and then they buy them like Call of Duty on disc, but don't know they need to buy the disc drive, and then
Yeah.
take it home, and the kids are gonna be like, "Where's the disc go?" You
That
know?
yeah, that reminds me way, 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 way back when I was younger. It was my duck hunt issue
Hmm.
because I was one of those people that actually we had a store called Easy Video right down the street before, you do the Blockbuster thing when you get older, at least in
Hmm.
my area. And my dad and I rented Duck Hunt, and like we didn't rent the gun, or the associate didn't tell us about the gun,
Hmm.
and we got home and we had to we had to go back to the store because we had Duck Hunt without the hunting. So that's like kind of what I'm thinking, going along the lines of the example that's given there.
Yeah. It's gonna have to be plug and play. It's gonna have to be super simple, like line this up and connect it. I
Hmm.
can't imagine
Hmm.
they have to make it simple, or else people are gonna be bricking their PlayStations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be like buying IKEA furniture and bringing it
Yeah.
home thinking you're a handyman, and you're not. You can't assemble
Hmm.
furniture.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm assuming this is their plan. Maybe end of next year, maybe, or following year.
Yeah,
We'll see.
if the PS6 is coming out in like 4 years, they got to do it soon.
Yeah, it's a good
Allegedly.
it's a good mid-cycle refresh for them, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, I don't have too much. Going as kind of a running theme on the podcast here, I guess the first thing that I'll announce, just due to how funny it is that the Diablo 4 Collector's Edition was revealed with all the things that you can guess in a collector's edition, a pin, they even have a nice little occult mouse pad, and all these different things, naturally an artwork book, but it is revealed without the game itself.
Nope.
So,
It's
I
just a
mean,
digital code, is what you mean?
No, it's nothing.
it's nothing.
You don't get any.
Oh,
I
that's
have
stupid.
I have two friends who we always play Diablo together. So we were going back and forth, like texting, like, all right, do we get it? We got to get it on PC. We're not getting console. So we'll all decide we'll get it on PC. And both of my friends were like, yep, I'm getting the collector's edition because they have all the other collector's editions. And then I got like an hour later a text from one of them being like, so it doesn't come with the game. I was like, you have what? Wait, what? And I was like, oh, so it just comes with the digital code. And they're like, no, it doesn't even come with that. What?
The next step in collector's editions has arrived, gentlemen. It
Yeah,
has
nothing.
arrived. You don't get the game at all anymore. It's just a collector's edition. It's just like
Unbelievable.
if you 2 months after any game got released, you just like Amazoned or Etsy'd or eBayed collector's edition that some diehard fan thought up and created themselves. It's essentially what you're doing now.
That's
So
insane. I don't
the next
understand.
generation.
Why would they do that? Just give us the
I don't know.
digital code. It costs you nothing to do the
Yeah.
digital code. I don't know. That's wild.
Well, the specific paper material that they put the digital code on has gone up 100% in the last couple of months, so that might be an issue as to why.
Unbelievable.
uh,
I don't get it.
uh, I don't get it either. Um, Also, small announcement: Final Fantasy 16. What 16?
Yep,
Yes.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm getting all my numbers mixed up today. Has been announced as exclusively a PlayStation exclusively a PlayStation exclusive until the 31st of December in 2023.
Placeholder.
As we know, yeah, placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if that's set in stone. I just thought it was funny. I also thought it was funny. How long aren't normally exclusives like a year or
6 months
so?
to a year. Yeah.
6 months to a year. Okay, I thought 6 months was funny. Personally, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think of that. It's probably not set in stone, but
We still don't have Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox, and that was supposed to be a year exclusive, and that
that's a good
still
point.
hasn't come out.
Well, I think that's
Yeah.
different.
That was supposed to be a year. You
Well,
remember
yeah.
there was a little like I remember
Mhm.
on the pre-order thing there was a little like thing in the bottom right that said coming to Xbox, and it was a year later.
Yeah, but I think that has a lot to do with the licensing between Sony and them for
Mhm.
like specifically the 7 series.
Yeah.
Be so, like, that's where things get a little bit tricky, I think, for that particular game. Maybe it was something they decided on and then, no, don't want to anymore wise, but I
Well,
think 16 is different, and if I had to guess what we're getting 16 in March or no, sorry, May of
Mhm.
next year, I believe, probably would be 6-month exclusive, so probably November if I had to guess, for that sort of thing. But again, as these guys mentioned, that December 31st is a placeholder.
Yeah.
That
mhm.
is that's not the real date, most likely. It would be very, very strange to have that to be the date, but it's
Yeah.
usually a placeholder when you don't know when it's going to end
Yeah.
exclusivity.
Well, it's funny, Craig, to your point about it saying that year for
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've got um, two releases based off of that 7 remake since then,
Yep.
and it's still not, like I just think that's quite funny. I mean, with Crisis Core coming out just very recently,
Mhm.
so but yes, placeholder. It's holding the place. Um and then the last one is High on Life developers. They released a patch. Patch had standard stuff, fixing some of the stuff. I am sure if any of y'all played High on Life like I did, we'll talk about that when we talk about the actual game. There are bugs, but one of the things that it mainly focused on fixing was turning down the excessive chatter dialogue option. You have the ability to actually adjust how often, mainly the guns, talk to you in the game, which is quite frequent. Now, I found this funny because I knew when I was playing High on Life, and again, we could talk more about it when we get to the games, that I was going to enjoy all of it because I like that humor. I've seen the entire Rick and Morty series. I like Justin Roiland as a creator and as a comedic presence, especially in animation. But I just thought it was interesting that they released it that quickly. High on Life has not been out for a long time, but they quickly got that patch together. They needed to get the patch together for the bugs, but the guns do talk to you a lot in the game. So that's a
Yeah.
recent patch for anybody playing that game.
I'll hold all my comments on the game till we get to it because there's no point in going into it now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's a
Yeah.
smart move, right? If you don't want to listen to it, having the option to turn that off is nice.
Mhm.
I
Why
got
wasn't that
and
an accessibility
correct.
option to start though? That's was
True.
that where you were going,
Eh,
Craig?
No, I just think it was probably like them putting that game together, and then after at least as people being like, "Oh man, this is obnoxious" or whatever, and them responding to it. That's how I look at it in a good way. Where they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
maybe people aren't digging how much this gun talks. You know what? Let's make a way to get rid of that so people can still enjoy the game." So I mean, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. Definitely a good feature.
With that being said, let's get into the games this week then. Where for me, I put a lot of time into Crisis Core Final Fantasy Reunion, and the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 raid, which is something I just want to briefly talk about at least. But those are the 2 games I played this week.
I
Okay.
also played Crisis Core, obviously High on Life, and then jump back into VR for Arcade Legends.
All right, I played more Midnight Suns. I have 2 minutes of that. That's
Okay.
it. And then I also played High on Life, and based off of the amazing hype and potential game of the year status that you gentlemen gave it last podcast, I tried the Forspoken demo.
Oh yeah, okay. Round out that discussion there. You can be the deciding factor on it.
And with that being said, you tend to have the 2 older games with Forspoken, sorry, and
Mhm.
Marvel Midnight Suns. You go ahead and start.
Yeah, let me just last take on Marvel Midnight Suns, gentlemen. I had a point in my life this week that I was upset with myself. I don't regret everything I do, but I do regret turning that game back on. And I'll tell you why.
All right.
I'll tell you why, cuz it's it's so mediocre. And there's times that I want to use the word bad, but it's only at best mediocre, and it's just the gameplay. All the things that we talked about in the past, the excessive dialogue, how the battle system is good for people like Barry and I who kind of like that card system, and Craig, you even gave it the old college try.
Mhm.
That's the meat of the game. I even found a rhythm in the hub area where I can keep it from a 25-minute time frame being in that area to like 5 to 8 minutes. I got like a little path I do where I go to this
Okay.
person and I upgrade and I collect these things. It's a nice rhythm. That helps me get through the game. So like what I want to describe the game as like kind of like a final point more so is that it's like the phrase comfort food and the
Mhm.
actual like real life comfort food. It's like a comfort food that that you've eaten, but it's not seasoned. It doesn't taste that good, but it's a large quantity, so it kind of just helps you get through the day when you don't want to cook yourself. Because all the times this week that I turned that game back on was either right after work when I had spent all of my mental juices at work,
Mhm.
or like today when I turned it on, I had a headache. I think I had too much caffeine. I had a couple of coffees this morning, even though that's not the increment for coffee, but whatever. I had a couple of coffees, and I had a headache, and that's why I turned the game on. I wanted to play High on Life. I was like, I don't want to ruin it. My head hurts. I wanted to try a couple of other different games and jump into things. Evil West, I wanted to try that because I still haven't played that game. But that's exactly what Marvel Midnight Suns is. The same way you turn on The Office when you don't know what to watch. The same way you make some ramen because you don't know what to cook. That's what the game is. Point blank. They may have spent a lot of time and maybe 100-hour game. That's all it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we purchased the game. I'm sorry that we were at least a little hyped for the game. I just got Captain America. That was cool. That's it. That's all I got on it. It's
so
don't finish it.
so you're saying Midnight Suns is like a plate of hot dogs? Is
It's
that
like a plate of
accurate?
hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's a plate of
It's
hot dogs.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the empty fridge. I have a jar of pickles
Yep.
and like some terrible concoction in like some Tupperware that I just have to eat because that's all I got right now.
It's
That's what it is.
microwavable mac and cheese of
It's
the gaming world.
microwavable mac and cheese of the gaming world.
That's
It's
fair.
just it's meh.
It has its
Um
place.
yes. And
All right.
and moving on to bigger or better things, or probably not. Forspoken demo.
Yeah.
Ah, gentlemen, I still have the pre-order for that game. I might cancel it. I don't know. I need to see something that
Yeah.
if this game came out in September of 2023. Okay. That's a lot of time to fix it. I get that demos don't fully show the full scale aspect of what you're going to experience. But the targeting system, the switching between spells, the very intricate weakness system that you have nothing to really tell you about. As far as a tutorial, there's none. Just like you guys had announced,
Yeah.
I got angry. I was like angry with the game. Not to mention, what's the protagonist's name in Forspoken?
I don't
I
remember.
Ooh.
forget her name. I
Forgettable.
forget her name.
Let
We're
me
looking
look
it
it
Yeah,
up
up.
right now.
yeah.
I think it started with an F, but that's probably because it's
Is
Forspoken.
it
Is what I.
is it Freya? It'd be funny if it was
Yeah,
Freya.
I think it's
Frey.
It,
Frey.
Frey.
it's
It's
Freya.
It's really
Frey
close. It's
Holland.
really
Yep.
close.
Frey Holland.
I played that demo 3 hours ago, and I couldn't tell you the
Ugh.
protagonist name. Number one, number two, she dropped a couple of swear words in there that didn't seem like her character. She was like swearing,
Yeah.
like in dialogue moments. Number three, the bracelet with like that Jeeves
Yeah.
kind of delivery of what he's talking about. I might cancel my pre-order. Like
Look,
I might,
you can turn him off now though.
Yeah, you can.
yeah,
Which is
but
hilarious that they even know that it's not good.
Look,
I shouldn't have to.
Right.
did the demo really off-put you that badly?
Yes, it's
Mhm.
terrible. It's so
It did.
bad.
But don't you
Part
feel like don't you feel
No.
like there's something there at least? Like I
No.
get the feeling that there's something there. Like it's just that the
Nope.
demo feels like it was just put out there without much thought.
I
You don't think
I
they looked at this and they were like, this is the best we got? Let's put it
yes.
on. That's what a demo is. It's supposed to be like, this is like drawing you in as far as like
Yeah.
making you want to buy the game. So they want to put their best foot forward. And if this was them looking at this and being like, yep, this is it, this game is going to be awful.
No,
It
I
is.
just no. It felt like I feel like they put this as a reminder. Like, oh hey guys, look, remember this game that's coming out here? You can play the demo. I guess that's what I think because that's what it felt
It's like
like. Because there
what it
was
felt
no.
like. What it felt like is like I'm full of analogies today. You go to a Price Club or a Costco or a Sam's
Okay,
Club,
here we
and
go.
they have those what do you call them, samples. It
Yeah.
feels like the person who handed me a sample dropped it in some like rancid milk first, and then said, if you buy it and there's no rancid milk on it when you eat it, it's gonna be good. So like I have to trust that if I buy that same product that I'm
What an
trying that with.
analogy!
That's a good
What
one.
an
That's a good
analogy
one.
there.
But
That's
here's
accurate.
the thing. Yeah, like I have the rancid milk taste in my mouth. I don't want to buy the product. Maybe if I did and I went home and cooked it, probably because there was no rancid milk on it, it would taste like it's supposed to,
Mhm.
which is supposed to be incredible. But because of the bad taste from this demo, they should have not released a demo at all. The
Nope.
game's coming out in January. They should have not released a demo at all. Put some really dope, like just keep a 10, or I guess you couldn't do that at the Game Awards, but a relatively timed footage showing.
Mhm.
Get us hyped. Let us buy it. And then when we unwrap it and the game's terrible, we can't return it. That's what they
Yeah.
should have done. So, like, it might not be a bad game. It might not.
I'm
I've
still
made some
gonna
bad
try
calls
it
before.
when it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it, but to be fair, to throw this out there so people don't get it confused, I'm gonna try it through GameFly. So I'm not buying the game. I'm gonna get it
That's a good
sent
call.
to me so that if it's terrible, I can play it for a day and then send it right on back and be like, oh yeah, I avoided $70 hole on that one.
Not your
Yeah.
boy. Your boy's going into the hole.
Yeah,
Boy,
but you
Oh,
you buy
boy.
climb deep
everything
into
though.
the.
You buy
I
everything.
climb into the hole.
We can't take what you do is fine, but we can't take it seriously because you buy literally everything.
Yeah, but
You
that's
do buy
it's my
everything.
money on the line is what you people get
Yeah.
from me. It's my money
Right.
on the line. I have to hope it's good because I'm not getting GameFly for it. That's what I have to hope for.
Man, again, GameFly, for the love of God, sponsor me. I'm on like 10 years straight
Yeah.
now. But like it's such a godsend for me, specifically for what we do and the amount of games that we play, that I can
Yeah,
play
Yeah.
these games and be like, this game's terrible. Thank God I didn't have to spend $70. It's great.
Yeah. I might have to invest in that because
Totally
what I'll
worth it.
probably do,
just
is
borrow my copy.
yeah, I'll probably keep the pre-order and then look at it for a day. Probably watch like 80 review videos and do some research on how people are if it's polarized, if it's not, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll most likely play it.
It could end up being
But
great. We don't know.
yeah, I'm just post fired up about it because I played
Yeah.
it and I was like, they were gosh darn right. They were gosh darn like just about like how not
Yep.
impressive it was. Like the traversal was fine. I
Mhm.
liked that. I liked how big the world was. I enjoyed when you got into the it's not like a it's after it's like not a church, but it's almost like it's an outside area where you essentially see all of your missions or potential missions. Like I enjoyed that kind of thing. But like when I was doing the battling, I just was not turned on by what I was
Yeah.
getting. And
I get that.
for a game for a game that displays they literally throw at you like you're gonna fight this, you're gonna fight this. Is that a dragon? You're darn right it's a dragon. You're gonna fight that too. Like I can't get it. If I'm fighting fodder and not having like a good time in that demo, then it's gonna give me it's not gonna give me what I need, and this is coming from a guy that bought Valkyrie Elysium after playing the Valkyrie Elysium demo, and he wished he never played it. The
Yep.
demo was good enough that I bought that game, and it was terrible. Why so, like, I don't know why Forspoken is reversed for me, you
Yeah.
know? So again, guys, I'm about a couple of hours out of it. I'm a little mad, mainly because of all the delays too. Like, this game had the potential to be good. It wowed a lot of us, and that demo really sourpussed me. You know, I was not a fan.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I'm glad you're on my side. It makes me feel more validated. Not that you're wrong, Barry, because everybody enjoys games differently. I just thought it
Yes.
was like that demo was just a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah, I get it.
Do you want to jump into High on Life then?
It's a good
Let's jump
segue
in.
for
Barry,
yeah.
did you play it at all or not?
I did not. I have it
Okay.
downloaded.
Okay. So this should be interesting because Craig, you are a Rick and Morty fan.
You guys
Yes.
can just and you can also just spoil the hell out of it. I
Okay.
really don't care.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
And I am not a Rick and Morty fan. What I did do before I played this game, though, this past week, is I did attempt to watch like the first episode of Rick and Morty because I've never watched an episode of it in my life because I'm so turned off by the overly zealous fans of Rick and Morty. I hate them with a passion. They
Mhm.
annoy me. So I tried to watch. I watched like the first episode, and I got like halfway through, and I went, "Nah, this ain't for me." So that being said, it's a good dynamic for the game. I think my personal opinion on the game is the idea of it is good. I like the story. I feel like the humor is like extremely hit or miss. There's some moments that I thought were hilarious, and then there's an overwhelming majority of the game that is like that extremely childish humor that I can't stand. I'm like specifically like the best way to describe it is like poop and pee jokes. You know what I mean? I'm like, are we
Yeah.
five for real? Like this
A
is
lot of
ridiculous.
those.
It's so much of it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, this is not funny. Who I don't understand how that's. I don't know. I don't want to like people who think that's funny. That's fine, but like in my mind, I'm like, I don't understand how you're writing this as a writer and being like, this is the funniest thing I've ever written because it's like
Yeah.
so childish. But
Yeah.
there are areas that work that I thought were hilarious. There was oh man, what were they called? The construction workers. They were like the Macaroni Brothers. Is that right?
Yeah, the mac yeah.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know
that
how you
Italian
handled it, but
humor.
like, yeah, like the Italian humor where he comes up, you're just trying to get through and he's like pushing you. So you
Yeah.
shoot him, and then his brother's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You shot my brother!" And then you shoot him, and then another one. It's like 8 of them, and like, "Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! You shot!" Oh my god, that was hilarious to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that stuff.
That's a good
Like, give
part.
me all of that. You know.
Yeah.
Um, I think the guns I don't find annoying. The main gun, which that's who voices that one? Is that Justin
That is
Roiland?
that yeah, that is him.
I I don't understand his line delivery. And I know it's very polarizing. Like you either love it or you don't. I don't understand like the constant like, yeah, so if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, okay. Like that kind of delivery. I'm just like, I could do without it. I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
Um but it's I don't find it overly obnoxious. It just doesn't work for me. The parts that really uh we'll say grind my gears here is finishing a mission, going back to the house and having to listen to everybody talk for 15-20 minutes. I'm like,
Or the
please,
forced talk, yeah.
please shut up and let me go to the next bounty. For the love of God, shut up. I don't care. It's
Yeah.
and I know that's the humor, right? Like that's the part you either love or you hate. But it's like your sister talking about her boyfriend or all that stuff. I don't care. Just let me
Yeah.
play. The game itself, gameplay wise, it's a Halo ripoff, right? It's Halo. Down to one of the weapons is literally a needler. Like it's a
Yeah.
needler, right? It
Yeah, it is.
identical to a needler. So I don't think like gameplay wise, it's nothing new. It's very, very standard. Upgrade, get a jetpack, get a power slide, that kind of stuff. It's all very standard. It's fine enough, but I'm having trouble keeping motivation to beat this game because
Mm.
I'm just getting bogged down by the like just obscene amount of talking in between what you're supposed to be doing. If there was less of that, I'd probably have a beat already. But there's just like I do like a bounty, and then I go back, and I'm just by time that like forced talking section's over, I'm just like I'm done. I
Yeah.
I can't do anymore. It's okay. I think it's like a 6 out of 10, 5 or 6 out of 10 for me. What do you think?
As a avid enough Rick and Morty
Mm-hmm.
fan, I would give it maybe at best an 8.
Okay.
Um, there's a couple of things that I know will turn off certain people specifically unless you're a fan of that Rick and Morty humor. So like the original gun that you get, that Justin voice, that's essentially Morty. It just is. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody who watches the show is going to get that kind of humor where he's like, I don't know if you want to go here, do you want to go there? Like, let's go, like, do what you want. Like
Yeah.
that's it's because it's not in like Morty's skin. It may not be as well perceived because that the person who normally has that voice, or at least the animated person, is a kid. But there is humor. They do a lot of poop and pee jokes.
Yeah.
There
Ton.
are there that is stuff that really lands. It's kind of like how I feel. And I am not one of those Rick and Morty fans that you're talking about, Craig, where it's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
know you're
wow,
not, and I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. It's just like I feel like sometimes it gets received, and it's not as good of a show necessarily as this, but it's kind of how Beavis and Butthead got received, where there's like a layer where a lot of us enjoyed it, and then it was people who couldn't get past a specific layer. But we're not here to talk about the show. The game itself, um, the shooter, I didn't even think of the Halo comparison until you said it. It's essentially, yeah, like a Halo ripoff. That's what works for it, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, and that's what keeps you going, is that gameplay. The guns are interesting enough. There's few of them, but like not. I like that. I like that there's not too many,
Yep.
especially because they talk and they have names and identities. So like
Yep.
that's like too many things to keep track of.
Too
The
many
worlds are
cooks.
fine. Yeah, exactly. There's the worlds are fine. I was not aware that you were going to be going to such different worlds, so I'm glad that there was at least a little bit, because like I mean, the show is about them going to different dimensions, and some dimensions will have this, some will have that. So I enjoy the game, but it's almost funny, Craig. You said you're having a problem beating it. I
Mhm.
have it for like a different reason. I don't know what's making it stale for me. I haven't finished it.
Mhm.
I am past like the initial bounties you do. So like the 3 initial bounties, like
Okay.
the one where the one octopus guy.
I think I'm
Um,
on like the 5th bounty out of 6. I
okay,
think there's 6 total.
gotcha. Um, and yeah, going back to the house, the forced chatter with your sister and you. The sister's funny at times, but not when you're
Yeah.
forced to listen to her,
Yep.
or forced to listen to the ex bounty hunter that takes up Shaq in your home.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks pretty good visual wise.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job. The chests are alive. When you take currency out of it, you kill them with the knife you got,
The
which is a
knife's
very
great.
sadistic. The knife is great. The
It's
knife is a very
hilarious.
he's just like, oh, let me stab somebody. Just come on. Just want to stab somebody and see the guts. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, I don't like that. That's him the whole time.
Yep.
Um, So there are certain things that land. For me, I have more of a Rick and Morty humor buffer. So a lot of the stuff doesn't bother me. It's just more reminiscent of what I've seen in the show, what I've heard from the show, what I've heard and everything they've done. So I personally can't rate it a 10. I can't even really rate it a 9. At times it does feel like an 8 to me, at times a 6 or 7. So we can average that out. Maybe I'll actually move it down to a 7. I think people
Mhm.
should try it. It's a perfect Game Pass game.
Yep.
I I'm glad I didn't buy it, and I'm giving it a 7, and I'm
Yep.
still glad that I didn't buy it. If you have Game Pass, just like you utilize it for all the other awesome things like Plague Tale and such that we are able to get throughout the year, Atomic Heart next year,
Yep.
use Game Pass. Now it's turning into a Game Pass plug, but you know,
It's the perfect Game Pass game.
it's the perfect Game Pass game.
Yep.
Don't I wouldn't tell anybody to buy it, to be honest, unless they were a Rick and 40 man of my
A Rick
level
and
or
40
higher.
man.
Heck
A
yeah.
Rick and 40 man.
Yeah, it's not worth $60, but like as a
No.
download, 100% I would say at least try it.
Yeah. Also great intro, by the way, where you play like that where the
I
tutorial
thought
thing.
I watched
Yes.
the tutorial. I thought
Yes.
that was that part. I was like, okay, this actually makes me excited to play the game when I
Hmm.
eventually play it.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like a Duke Nukem feel, kind
Yeah,
of
it
steampunk
was
Yeah,
Duke
it's
meant to. It was
Nukem.
meant to be like
hilarious.
Duke Nukem, like almost Doom type stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, your ex-wife, your ex-wife's trying to sue you, man. Go
Hey,
kill
hey,
kill the
hey, it's your
ex-boyfriend.
lawyer again.
Yeah.
For like 15 times. Hey, it's your lawyer again, in case you forgot.
See, that was a good part. That
It
that one
was.
landed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Um, okay, so I'll hit Arcade Legends real quick and then we can hit Crisis Core because that's a big one.
yeah,
Arcade Legends for VR. I've had my eye on this game for like, I feel like all year, but I think it's more like 6 to 8 months. Um, It finally came out on Oculus this week, so I could finally pick it up. It's like $25. Basically, you run your own arcade. So you get a rundown arcade, you do different quests, and you get money to buy more arcade machines to put in here. What I think works so well in this is that the arcade games that they got, which are like ticket based games, so they have like the basketball, claw machines, that kind of stuff. They're all licensed from I
okay.
forget which company. It's like
Mm,
LEI or something. One of the big
okay.
companies that makes these ticket redemption games. And obviously you get to play every single one of them. And you can also do multiplayer and invite people over to your arcade and you can hang out and play games and redeem your tickets and all that kind of stuff. Perfect game for VR, right? I love arcades. I love, I love claw machines. I love playing the basketball ones. There's some other ones. There's quite a few actually, and they have committed to adding more as it goes on as like free updates, which is cool. But yeah, I mean it's fun. You get to decorate your arcade however you want it to look. I'm having a good time with it. Again, it's like the perfect introduction too for people in VR. Be like, hey, put this on and go play some arcade games. You can get lost pretty easily in that. So I would 100% recommend that. Um, I'm having a blast with it. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a ton of fun. Barry,
Crisis
give me
Core.
that Crisis
All
Core.
right.
I'm ready. I'm
Let's
ready.
get it.
As a huge fan of Final Fantasy Crisis Core,
Hmm.
it definitely couple things. It's definitely aged for sure.
Yes.
This does not look like a good game. I should say graphically, it does not look anything spectacular.
It didn't get the
The
same love that the Final Fantasy VII did,
No, it
for
did
sure.
not. It
Hmm.
Okay.
absolutely didn't, and I also didn't
Mm-mm.
expect them to do it. To be fair, it was
You didn't expect a little bit more though.
I okay.
It's
So
a little
I'll
rough.
say it is a little rough. It is rougher
Hmm.
than I originally expected.
Hmm.
But I also don't know whether or not I have a feeling this is one of the things that they didn't originally plan to re-release. But you see all of the questions that came up when people played the new remake, going, "Who's the Zack Fair character that they keep seeing?" So then
Yeah.
they realize, "Oh crap, people didn't play Crisis Core. That was available on PSP. I guess we need to figure out, especially if they plan on changing like the ending, which I don't know if that's the case for the original, but Zack
Hmm.
Fair is playing a lot more of a part than originally expected on my end. The game looks rough. That is just how things go. It is a like I have come to accept that. for the
Yeah.
most part. A lot of the original like kind of cheese things that were in Crisis Core and the PSP still works for this game. I had Curaga 2 hours into the game because I knew exactly what the recipe was to get Curaga. I have a
Yep.
lot of very powerful early spells that I shouldn't have, but I have it because I remembered what the recipes were when I was playing the game on PSP. Overall story wise, and I guess this is the part I'm most conflicted about. Um it is a good prequel. The thing is there's a lot of I'm starting to realize that in my younger years I was just probably pretty blind to the fact that Angela is not good of a character as I remember. Not
Yeah.
nearly. He is very cryptic. He essentially doesn't do a lot. I remember him being more of like a figure to Zach Fair, the main character you play as in the PSP game, but that is not the case in this one. He is very cryptic, he's very
Yep.
distant, and he's meant to make a big emotional impact that I feel like misses for the most part there. How far are you into the game, Craig? Have you played it?
Like 5 or 6 hours.
Okay, I'm about 6 hours. I'm into chapter 6 and there's 10 chapters. Do you know what
I'm not that
chapter?
far because I went down the rabbit hole of all those random side missions.
The random side missions I
Yep.
will say are a good distraction because they
Yep.
don't feel overwhelming. So it's an
And you
easy
you
way for.
finish them in like 5 minutes.
Exactly. So I'm
Yeah.
with you there. I do a lot of that
Hmm.
as well. And story wise, it's particularly the same if you want, like, and here's the thing for Crisis Core. I think if you really want to, there's a chance that you really need to play Crisis Core to understand Rebirth. There is
Yep.
a
Yep.
Rebirth is a very weird title for the next one, which makes me think different things about how
Yeah.
maybe the new Final Fantasy VII Remake series is going to play out. And that's kind of like my big conundrum here. I feel like I have to play it. One, I liked Crisis Core originally, but two, does this character play a major role in the new game? Which we don't know yet is the kind of thing that I'm getting at. So to see like Cloud before he's distant, I really
Hmm.
enjoy. To get to see Sephiroth before we know him as the big major villain and kind of the background to a lot of the soldier protocol and everything like that. I like having that background knowledge. And I like to know kind of the origin of the Buster Sword in a way. Because that is
Mm.
Cloud's iconic sword. And you kind of
Yep.
get that. Zach is a really cookie cutter protagonist.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
all about he's very, and I'm gonna put it, very Kingdom Hearts like. He's
Yep.
all about
Uh,
dreams,
Yep.
being a hero, friendship stuff, whatnot. The voice acting though is definitely not as good as I remember in the first. The voice
No,
actors they got for this, I don't
they're
have
from Wish.
a wish.
they're
They're,
they're from Wish.
they're from
Wish.
Wish.com.
It it I
I like
really
Craig got it.
Oh, I got it. They
It's
were a
just a
dollar.
discount website. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I don't know. It was rough for me because I remember Zach sounding a lot better, and especially there's a time skip to say the least, and Zach
Hmm.
eventually gets an older voice. His older voice is not very much older, in a way. So it really hurts me to say that like Zach's image is kind of stained in my eyes because his character isn't as good as I remember, and I think it's because it's his voice is different.
Are you
And
using English?
yes, I am.
Okay, so am I. I thought about switching to Japanese just to see if that would help.
As did I, and I still might
Mhm.
do so. I never played it in Japanese when I was a kid, so
Okay,
I
me
definitely
neither.
English is what I grew up on. So
Um,
it's
Barry, are you saying that this game is causing a crisis in your core?
Oh my
Is
god.
that what you're saying?
at my core, I am having a crisis.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
it
Okay.
The combat system is, I feel like, a lot better. Like, it's not Final Fantasy VII combat system. Let me get that straight.
Mm-mm.
It's much more simplified, and I do prefer that for this game because a lot you don't get party members in this game. It's you by yourself
Right.
defeating a lot of these enemies. So I like this combat system because I feel like it's fast, it's easy to get to everything, and the quality of life changes they made to it are worth it. For example, You get more materia moves now. You get like there's a Buster Sword proficiency meter, which was not in the original game. So there's a ton of stuff that they added that I think adds to it and makes combat even more fun. But I definitely feel like the story's taking a hit for me, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with maybe the voice actors a little bit not being the original, and that might be my brain wanting it to be the original voice actors like I want it, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
The original Crisis Core was released more than 10 years ago. I think it was maybe 12 years ago it was released. So
Yep.
you got to think about that when it comes to how aged this game is. Did I expect it to be looking better? Yes. Is it still the same Crisis Core game? Yeah, it is. And I still think the story is there. It's just not what I remember. Like it's not as much about as Angeal as I thought it was. It really is a lot about Zack and Aerith, which
Hmm.
you kind of get clues to that in the remake as well.
Right.
So you get there. So I how did you feel about it? I've rambled on for
So
long enough.
it's no, it's fine. It's funny that when you were talking earlier that while I've been playing it, I started to feel like I, it's very Kingdom Hearts to me, and almost to the point where I almost felt like you, Barry, when you try to explain Kingdom Hearts to somebody, is how you were going to end up having to explain the Final Fantasy VII remake and how Crisis Core intertwines. That's going to be us to be like, well, actually, if you go back and you play Crisis Core, and there's a specific moment about 3 hours in with Angeal, and he's talking to Sephiroth, and if you go back and play that, and then go watch the cutscene from Final Fantasy VII, that's going to give you a clue into this that's in the next part. That's
You
where we're
know,
going to be at.
it's funny. I didn't add those dots, but that is absolutely what's going to happen. And I'm
They're
pretty
Kingdom
sure,
they're Kingdom Hearts in it.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
I'm
Kingdom
pretty sure,
Hearts and
yeah, I'm pretty sure Tetsuya Nomura is also directing these games, which now
Yeah.
makes complete and utter circle sense. It's now all
Yeah.
coming together as Craig added those dots for me there. Craig, you
But
just like activated my
yep.
synapses. Two wires
Can
touched, and now everything is connected.
can you not just like look like 5 years in the future or maybe longer when we have all the Final Fantasy VII remakes parts together and we're there trying to just give everybody how the ending goes together, and we're just
I
like we
really
have
hope
like a
it's not that
whiteboard
messy. I
behind us and
really
we're
hope
like,
it's
all right, so
oh
if we make a
man.
line here and go under, that's going to be us. It's the
It's
same thing from
it's the
Kingdom
meme from
Hearts.
It's Always Sunny.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
the
the
meme
Charlie
from
meme.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're gonna be circling and have
yeah.
strings. Um, I agree with you. I thought it would look a little bit better. I didn't expect it to be like Final Fantasy VII remake level. I didn't expect that, but I expected it to look a little bit nicer. But they are. It was very obvious that this was not the level of love that Final Fantasy VII got. It was
Yes.
more of a, we need to get this story out there so people can play it and know who he is, and that's fine. Because at its core, when I started playing this game, I started it up. I know that intro, like I've seen that intro like
Yeah.
20 times. It's just
Yeah.
like it immediately was like putting on comfy sweatpants, and I'm like, oh
Yep.
yeah, let's go. I don't even care that it doesn't look as good. I don't even care that the voice acting isn't as good as it should be, because I am right back with my PSP on my couch and I don't
Yeah.
care. So is it a great game? No. But for people like us who have that nostalgia for the original, just like with Final Fantasy VII, I'm like, I am in. Let's go ahead and you can take all my hours for this one. And it's not even that long of a game. Probably like what, 15 hours maybe?
15 to 20 hours. There's 10
Yeah.
chapters. I am breezing through it like at a pace
Yeah.
that I did not breeze through it when I was a kid. Again,
Mhm.
I was probably pretty dumb. I didn't exploit weaknesses like my
Yeah.
28-year-old brain knows how to do now. So
Mhm.
there's probably a lot of that playing around in me as well. But like you're absolutely right. A lot of it is nostalgia with me. I know the ending is like one of the most like badass things that I love about
Yeah.
Crisis Core. That ending's going to invoke feelings in me that I got when I was 14 or 12 playing that game. So I'm like working toward that ending in a way. I
Yeah.
I forget how confusing like the XP system is
Oh,
because
it's
there isn't
awful.
XP.
It's
It
awful.
the game all it does is it doesn't tell you how much XP you earn. It just hits a random slot number and
Yep.
eventually levels you up. Like it does it all on its own,
Oh
and
wow.
in my brain, it's really confusing for an RPG to do that. Uh,
Yeah, you
because
can't
a lot,
track it.
yeah, because a lot of the times I find myself just I'll end a battle and it'll be like, "Oh, you leveled up," and I'm like, "I know there wasn't 777 on that thing. You just, you
Yeah.
just, you just made it because you knew I was supposed to level up, kind of thing." And I
It's
guess
counting
that's
it in the
better.
background. It's just
Yeah,
not showing you. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's that slot machine that's not random at all.
yeah.
Mm.
Like it knows exactly what to give you. I
Mhm.
think this is a game that's like for us, we love it. But if somebody else who doesn't have the love for Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core comes in, they're gonna be like, this game's awful.
I just yeah, I'd feel bad. I feel bad for whoever played Remake, and then they're like, "Oh man, I loved
Yeah.
Remake. Let's get Crisis Core Reunion," and
Yep.
then they're picking this up, going, "What is this?" Because it's not
Yeah, it's
what you
that's gonna
expect.
be you. Yeah, it'd be interesting
That's
for
why I
you
didn't
to
buy it.
play it. I want you to play it though, just to
You're gonna
get
borrow
like
my
that other
copy once I'm
opinion.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna borrow
Okay.
my copy once I'm done here because I'm gonna be done with it by the end of the week. I
Yeah.
don't have much longer to
Yeah.
go.
My man, I'm intrigued. I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't want to buy it. I wanted to kind of hear what you guys were going to say and what other people have
Yeah.
said, because I am not a Crisis Core person. But
Anything with Final Fantasy VII on the box, I'm gonna buy. And
Yeah.
it's almost it's crazy to me, Barry, that like your love for this game that you never like sought out Final Fantasy VII growing up.
Yeah, I am in this
You know, it's
very
weird.
weird place where I never played the original 7, never beat
It's
it,
yeah,
wild.
but I played Crisis Core and I loved it. So it
You
is
would have thought you would have like
that's so
looked at
odd.
if you would think you would have like bought Final Fantasy VII on like PC or something somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
you'd
it's
think, but
like not
I
playing. I was. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, that's what I mean. Like I don't know. That's what I'm making. I don't know why I did it. I might not have
Yeah,
had the money as a kid to get it,
that's
and
fair.
then by the time I was older here, I look at Final Fantasy 7 and it's like, it looks old. Is
Yeah, because Final
probably
Fantasy VII was before your time, really.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there, I guess that it makes sense because there wasn't really a good way to play Final Fantasy VII other than
No.
PC, and it ran like crap on PC.
Yeah, and
So
I
Yeah.
didn't have a PC till I was until I was 24. So
yeah,
I didn't
I
get
guess
one
it
till much
makes sense
later in
then.
life.
You were just born at the wrong time, but somehow
Yeah.
you still got like the love for Crisis Core. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
It's just so. It's like it's so funny to me. It's like liking. If we're using Kingdom Hearts as an example, it's like never having played 1, 2, or 3, but like you like one of the random ones that's like in
Yeah,
2.5.
between.
Yeah.
yeah, you like Dream Drop Distance or you like
Oh, here
Chain
we
of
go.
Memories
Yeah.
Get out the
or
whiteboard.
yeah, or 352 over 8 days
Oh
or
God.
Recoded at that matter. It
Yeah.
Mm,
it's funny to me you mentioned that because like it's much like Dream Drop Distance if
oh
we're making
no.
Kingdom Hearts analogies
Oh
now, and
no.
sorry Craig, you did this is your fault. Let me be completely clear because Chain of Memories is like a completely different game. Like at
You
least
got to
Crisis
connect it here.
Core is in the same vicinity as the other games.
Yeah,
Chain of Memories is a completely different card game. It's a card game. It's so
it's fair.
different. All right, done. Done. Done.
Overall, I
Don't
think it's a
don't say Kingdom
solid.
Hearts anymore. Don't say Kingdom Hearts anymore.
I'm gonna be try to be as fair as possible. Looking at this game without nostalgia love, I'm gonna say 7 out of 10.
I'm 7 yeah, I'm
Yeah,
leaning towards 7 like 6.
yeah.
I'm leaning toward like 7 pretty
But
stagnantly,
if
but
I take the glasses and put them down, the nostalgia glasses, it's a 10. It's like boop,
see, yeah,
10.
yeah, it's like, "Oh, it's a 9. This is
Yep.
such a good game." Yeah, it's
Yep.
exactly like that. So,
True.
I respect that.
I also have to we also have to see if whether or not the ending changed. Like that's my thing
Right.
here because I they're putting so much more focus on Zack than the previous game did because 7 was out and completed and then Crisis Core came out afterward. So,
Yeah.
you have this kind of thing where they're like retrospectively trying to add more Zack to it, which is just strange to me, I
Weird.
guess.
Yeah.
But because you know the original people love like what Final Fantasy 7 is, and you
Mhm.
don't need to have this Crisis Core remake in it for people to really, I think, understand or love the same Final Fantasy 7 that they hopefully can pull off with this trilogy. but we just
Yeah.
have to continue playing
Zach
and
has
see
no
it.
presence in Final Fantasy
Yeah,
7.
yeah, like Zach is an
No.
afterthought to what everything
Yeah.
else is, but I got to figure out. I have to know whether or not this becomes a bigger deal because it potentially could, and that means
Yeah.
Zach. I love Zach. I love Zach. He's awesome.
It's because he's so close to Sora.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, he's just so cool.
Oh my god. Stop.
But
We have to move on before Barry goes on a Kingdom Hearts
no,
rant.
yeah, no. I
Yeah,
was
so
just
anyway,
I was just about to force me to go into. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Modern Warfare 2 raid. Craig,
Mm.
did you play the raid?
oh yeah, go ahead.
No, but I want to. It seems interesting. So go
Oh,
ahead.
we should just play together.
No.
All three of
Okay.
us should play the raid together because
Yeah.
it has to
I
be
want to
3
try it.
people.
Yeah.
This would be fun.
Okay.
So the raid, and here's what I came into it thinking. I'm thinking it's a Call of Duty. There's no way a raid can be, I want to
Like
say,
Destiny
funner.
type raid?
Like like a
Exactly.
Destiny.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't think, but I was pleasantly surprised. One, it is quite difficult, I find.
Okay.
Two, there are puzzles in this.
Nice.
Call of Duty put puzzles in this raid.
That's
And
cool.
It's
it's a very simple puzzle because I feel like they're trying to test the waters with what Call of Duty can do. But overall, and I've completed the raid twice now, and I really I think they have something going here. The one
Okay.
thing I
oh.
will say, because people are trying the raid but not doing the other stuff, you I would highly suggest playing the cooperative missions. That'll probably make the raid easier for you. We had never done any of the cooperative missions at all.
Mhm.
And how Modern Warfare 2 works in cooperative is there are 3 tiers you can pick through: assault, medic, or recon. And as you earn stars for doing cooperative missions, you get upgrades for those tiers, whether it's more armor slots to put in, whether it's a special ability, or for the medic you get a gun to a medic gun to
The
shoot at
revive
somebody and
gun.
instantly
Mhm.
bring them up. So there's a lot of that going on that if you have never played cooperative, you'll find this pretty hard. It took us I think 40 minutes. No, I think it took longer. I think it took 2 hours to beat the raid the first time, and then we got it done in about 40 the second time. Once we actually figured out what we were doing. And I feel like it is best to have somebody who at least played the raid,
Mhm.
to kind of help the new people. Like when I play with you guys, I will let you guys kind of try to figure things out, and I'll try to lean you in certain directions. But
Sure.
I find the puzzle part pretty cool. There's a particular part where you're all hmm. There's a particular part where you're all sharing a particular thing in order to stay alive, and it is a little
Okay.
strange, and it's kind of, I know it's
Talking
meant
about
to.
the air mask thing, like the
Yes,
underwater.
yes.
Yeah, that was in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying not to spoil it. I
Yeah, that
know
was in
it's
the
meant
trailer.
to add tension, but as long as you and your 3 teammates have good um
Communication.
yeah, good
Yeah.
communication, all 3 of you take a hit of it, I guess, in a way, take a hit of the air tank, run a little bit. Once one person goes, they get it, next person, then you just keep going. So I feel like a lot of the stress that was added like is kind of lost on me. I do understand that it was it you get there and it's easy to get lost in this particular section because you're swimming, and the swimming controls are a little bit, I want
Yeah.
to say,
Not
on the
great.
yeah, not on the
They're not
great
great.
side. So it can be a little bit annoying when it comes to the swimming section of that, but it there are splices of Splinter Cell cooperative. Like if you
Okay.
remember, so
Oh yeah.
taking down enemies together at the same time is important in order to get other guards to not notice you. So and I love that portion of Splinter Cell. The fact that you're all talking, you do a countdown and you go, and then it's like, okay, next group of targets, 1, 2, 3, go, type of thing. And I love that. I love the coordination that you can pull off. Is it It's not great, I want to say, in the game, but it's the start. So I'm hoping that they can eventually make it a little bit easier to like pull off this coordination or better marking, because really all you can do is press the up on the D-pad and mark other stuff, and it eventually just becomes a little bit too, I think, busy on the map for it. And they do need to do a better job of like guard detection and things like that, because guards get alerted way too easily in this mode, and you can find yourself getting overrun quite easily because they throw those armored soldiers at you, and
Mhm.
they are tough, and if you open a door and they're right in front of you, they're gonna get you, like you will go down. But I I overall feel like the raid is a wonderful start to what Call of Duty can do with raids, and I do think they will continue to do raids. There's kind
Yeah.
of a bit of a story with the raid, so I feel like it just needs to be updated often enough. That's my thing.
Mm.
Like
So,
one a
like,
season, I think is what they're looking for, right?
well, my main thing with that is like season one has kind of been out. Don't we still have 40 plus days
I
on
think
Yeah,
that?
it's
so.
something like
Yeah.
that.
I
It's
Yeah.
like
feel like
44 or 45, I feel like.
you could maybe release two a season, one at like the beginning or the halfway, and then one at the
Mhm.
end. So you can kind of pick there, let people enjoy the new season. Here's a new raid mission in the middle, and then a mission to end it in a way. So, just
Okay.
because if you don't update it enough, people are not going to care and people are not going to want to play it. Yes, you do
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
exclusive call signs and mystery boxes for doing it,
I was just gonna
but
ask you, is the payoff good?
Yeah, that's what yeah.
Yeah.
it's all right.
So they
It's
Like
give
not
you
like
the
what?
it,
So calling cards?
Yeah, they give you calling cards. And I haven't figured it out yet, but there are like these mystery boxes I'm supposed to be able to open. I
Mhm.
don't know where I'm supposed to open them. I went to every menu and I couldn't find
Okay.
them. And I don't know if these mystery boxes are what the calling card I get is in the next screen, if you understand what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
Because
mm,
it'll show like a mystery box thing up at the top, like in the center of the screen, but then it'll show you like, okay, you got these calling cards or call signs and stuff like that. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, is that what's in the box or do I still need to open the box? Like that's my confusion
yeah.
about it. And I can't find the box, so I assume that is the box.
Okay.
What's in the box?
But you
I'm
do
intrigued because that trailer made it look very cool.
Yeah. And anytime you think raid, I mean, it's not going to be a full Destiny kind of thing because
Right.
they're different games, but that's a good idea with maybe having two a season because if there's anything Call of Duty players have, it's at least two friends to be able to
Yeah.
do the raid with. So, like nobody's really going to have an issue trying to find two other people
Right.
that
yeah,
they want to coordinate with.
Yeah, the issue I have with like how they have it run right now is all of the other cooperative missions are all duos. They're not trios. So, like let's say you want to play with your friends and you realize, "Oh, I should play these other cooperative missions." I can't play with my other three friends. I have to axe one out. I have to tell them, "No, I don't want to play with you. You suck." Uh
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of thing there. And then that one friend that you have to axe, you either have to play with these missions again with him or he needs to find someone else to play with. I don't like that alienation in a way. Like you
Mm,
should have it standard. Like if you want to do these raids and you want people to play the cooperative missions, have it all be trios or have
Yeah.
it like I feel like trios is the best option. Maybe they do quads in the future for it, kind of like how Destiny can be like six or I think six or
Yeah.
eight players at a time.
Mhm.
mm,
You can grow that, but I really think you need to at least put trios in there. That way, if you eventually accrue a party of six for a raid, you can at least have two, parties of three that have
Yeah.
played with each
mm.
other and know what they're doing. Call of Duty, like I wish I could send them a letter. I guess this is my plea for you to do that. Like, please do that. Like, make
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
so I don't have to one alienate my one friend because he can't play with us because all the other cooperative missions are duo based, and two, you just make it uniform. You make it so much easier to understand. Like I made the mistake of like activating my raid assignment with my three friends in the lobby, and then we got kicked from that lobby, and I was looking. I don't know how it happened, but I was searching for a lobby to join in when you're not supposed to be able to. Like, you have to be
Mm,
in a party with 3 friends to start the raid. You
Mhm.
have to be. So I don't know what happened. I don't know for me if it was like a glitch or something, but then I had to go into Warzone, get a top 20, and then get it back. I think how they have you getting the raid assignments is very easy. I find it very streamlined. You either have to do daily challenges in multiplayer, get a top 20 in Warzone, or leave with 30K in your bank in the DMZ mode. That one's like the hardest.
Mhm.
Uh
yeah.
very by far. Just because you have to stay in the game type for the game mode for so long. But the other two are quite easy to get. Like the daily missions one is the easiest and goes really quickly too. You don't have to spend,
So you have to do
45
that
minutes
first before you
you have
go
to
to
get it.
the
Yeah,
raid.
you have to get
Okay.
a raid
To
assignment.
qualify.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Craig, you
makes
you
sense.
definitely have one. I know you play Warzone.
Yeah.
Craig in the Giants jersey. I don't know how much you've been playing, so that may be something you need to do.
I have way
If
too
you
much
go,
time in that game.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been bruising shipment. I don't know what bruising's not a term, but I've been playing a crap ton of shipment because that's one of my wife and I's one of our
okay.
favorite levels.
So you
Mhm.
So we've been
probably
going.
got you probably have a raid assignment from doing that, and your raid assignments last a week.
Okay.
So once that week is over, you then have to go back and get another one. So I will probably have to get another one, most likely. But again, I feel like it's easy because Craig, I'm gonna say I don't know how you do it. I played a decent amount of Warzone this week. I hate Warzone. I cannot
Really?
stand it. Um, I don't know why, and you know how it is with me too. I don't feel like Warzone is fair
Okay.
um
Okay.
in a lot of ways because for me I shoot first at people and because they're very good at all getting headshots I die quicker than they do. Like it's very obvious that like
Mhm.
I'm aiming for the chest and they aim for my head and I'm dead within a couple seconds. So
Right.
it's a skill problem. It's me. It's not Call of Duty, but I I can't stand Warzone because of it. Because every time I get into a firefight, I'm losing 90% of the time.
Mm,
So it's just how things are. I'm
Gotcha.
just not a Warzone person because in Apex, no matter unless you get a Kraber, I at least stand a chance in
Mhm.
in my
mm,
eyes. And Craig
yeah,
Craig gets that. So
Yeah, sure.
I get.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. It sounds cool.
all right, the high sensitivity Call of Duty raid coming to you soon.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, time for movies and TV shows then.
Yep.
I finally watched Nope.
All right.
I and
Woo!
then I also watched the Netflix series Dragon Age Absolution. I expect to be watching Way of Water sometime this week.
Oh god.
Uh,
Okay.
Are you going to
so
the theater to see that?
I will. Hmm.
I'm not going to the theater just because, and this is my statement to throw out into the world. I refuse to support James Cameron because he is an eternal douche.
No,
He's like the worst.
he is a jerk.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah, I
watch
see
it when
that.
it comes on in my home, but like I can't. Like the amount of stuff that he said recently has just turned me so off on this movie. I don't even want to go.
What
That's
did you guys
understandable.
watch?
So I watched two movies this week. I watched The Fablemans and Black Adam.
Oh, I'm interested in your Black Adam take.
Mhm.
I don't have anything exciting because Craig talked about it last week, but I did watch Troll. That was the only thing I watched this week.
Nice.
Did
I
none of
love
you
the
guys watch
Troll
the
Actually,
movies.
Pinocchio, the Guillermo del Toro's
I
one?
forgot.
Oh darn!
I
I'll
also.
put it
Oh,
on my list. You know what? I'll watch it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Barry, Barry sounded like Pinocchio when he
I
said, "Oh
totally
darn, oh
forgot.
darn."
I even
I
have
want
it
to
on my
talk about it
list.
to somebody. I really like Pinocchio. It is a good movie, and I think you guys
I
will
will
like it.
watch it for
I'll
sure.
watch it.
Give
So
us
I'll
that
talk
I'm writing
about
it
nope
down
though,
now.
Barry. Give me nope.
so Nope.
Yes.
I really liked Nope. I really
Yes.
did like the I can't say enough like the cinematography and this is like coming from a broadcast journalism major is spectacular.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the entire way like Peel shoots all of his stuff. The raining blood on the house is by far my favorite thing
Yeah.
he's done. It is
Yep.
such a cool shot and it is done practically. Like I can tell that what they did on the cameras is there's people above that stage house and they're just pouring red buckets of paint all over it. It
Yep.
looks spectacular. And
Mm.
I really like that about it. We're gonna go into spoilers for Nope. The
Mhm.
reveal that the UFO is a monster instead of
Yes.
like actually being piloted by something, I did like. I will say the ending was really strange for me when it inflates into this huge jellyfish thing.
Yeah,
Mm.
when it opens
Um,
up.
and I feel like, and this might be just me, like, I don't understand some of the directional takes as to why its mouth was this like I can't explain it. It was almost like a parachute that came out every couple seconds. And Craig,
There's
you're
a reason.
smiling.
There's
Okay,
a
so you're
reason. I just don't
so
wanna
the
get into it on here. I mean, I can,
oh,
but
okay.
I did a lot of digging just because I was so confused, and I was like, "I need to know what he was going for," and I did find out.
Okay.
Okay, so
But
you'll have to tell me because
yeah,
I'm interested in that part.
yeah.
I I feel like everybody acted their butt off and like they're
Yes.
I like it, and I hate the way horror movies make me feel where I'm always on edge, but like I at least had you guys tell me it's not the scariest thing in the world,
Mm.
so I felt a little bit like at more ease to where I was comfortable to where I was. Some of like the jump
Did the
scares or
barn
what.
scene get you? Because that was phenomenal.
Oh,
The barn scene was
Ooh!
fantastic.
yeah, the barn scene was
So good.
funny because
Wow.
the camera turns around and I'm like, "Wait, that wasn't there before." And I'm like looking
Yep.
closer at the screen and then that, the costume gets up and I'm like, "Nope, nope, nope, I'm not for this. I'm."
Nope, nope. That's the
It's
name of the
so
movie.
good. Yep.
Yeah. I agreed with the character there going, "Oh, nope." Like he's just
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
ba-
nope.
backing
That barn scene,
away.
like, made my even though it turns out to not be anything, like, made my blood go, like, cold. I was like, "Oh." Like, it's so,
Yeah.
like it's done so well that you're just like, "What is that?" You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? Crazy.
No, yeah, like that was done like really superbly and I loved like that bar scene despite the fact that it did like I was like, "Oh my god, like stop."
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
didn't know what was going to happen. And then he immediately like releases the tension, which is what I
Yep.
liked. I like that immediately you find out that it's just kids in a costume
Mhm.
going don't mess with the farm. So I enjoyed that portion of things a lot for sure. Other things in Nope. Let me see here. I thought the monkey thing was a little strange. I'm still not
Sure.
completely sure where that was going. I get it's to give the one circus guy a bit of, I don't know, I guess drama to his backstory,
Backstory.
Backstory, yeah.
but like to open up with that, I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
I mean,
And then they
Yeah.
kind of
it ties to the UFO.
It does because, like,
Don't look at it.
essentially yeah, and essentially yeah, that's the one thing, and, like, the other
Mhm.
thing was it explained why he was trying to tame it
Right.
at, like, the big organized area when it, like, took everybody in the rafters. It's like him having that experience with that monkey, like, later made the exploitative nature that he was of taming a beast because that's what he was doing. He was feeding the thing horses
Yep.
because they hinted at that. They said it not relatively quickly, but they said it quick enough. And that's something that I just remembered. So like later it made more sense when he had everybody there so that they could see it. You know, it's him taming
I
the
felt
actual
like
beast, but
I felt
also
like
not
he was
looking at it like
over
Craig.
I felt like he was overconfident because he felt like he tamed the monkey, right? The monkey didn't
Yeah.
kill him. The monkey didn't kill him because he didn't see him, right? Like
Yeah.
he didn't look at him. So I took it as like in his
but
mind, he's like,
but
I survived that. So
didn't the
like I
monkey see him before he got his head blown off?
Yeah,
no,
it's not so it's also
not
you're
his
not supposed
eyes.
to look at the predator. Yeah, you're
Right.
not supposed to look at the
Okay.
predator,
Yep.
Okay,
and
because
that's what they were going.
that
He
cloth
didn't see
thing, I
his
guess.
eyes. Right. They didn't
Oh,
lock
okay.
eyes. Right. So I don't know. I took it as like
And they
he
had
was
the bump.
overconfident. Yeah. Yeah. The bump.
They had the bump thing
They had the
going.
Yep.
bump. Let's not forget
Oh
the bump there,
God.
guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll have to tell me more about that ending because
Sure.
like that ending to where it expanded to that thing, I was like, "What is this?" And you guys might know
That
this
threw me
better
for
than
a
I
loop.
do. Is like that director that comes in, like is he someone important or something like that, or is he just an actor playing someone
I
important? I
don't
don't
think
know.
so. I didn't
Okay, cool.
recognize
All
him.
right.
No,
Yeah.
All
no,
right.
like they brought him in as somebody who can get the shot.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know
Okay.
how much other context he had to the movie, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like in a
go ahead.
Jordan Peele movie, like he would have picked a director on purpose to play the director
Everything's on
in
Ah,
this.
purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
I think the best scene in that entire movie is him in the truck where he just goes, "Nope."
Nope.
That's the
Yeah,
best
it's the one.
part.
Is that the one where he's peeking out of the door and like
Yeah.
looking up
He
and
looks
like,
up and
yeah,
he
he's
goes,
just
"Nope." Shuts
nope.
the door. It's what
Yeah,
every single person screams at a movie at a screen when they're watching a horror movie. Don't go in there. Don't be stupid. And it's literally him going, "I ain't gonna do that. Nope."
no, I'm not gonna do
You
that.
know, and what's funny to me too is his character's kind of laissez-faire to the whole thing. He's
Mhm.
never
Yeah,
like overwhelmed. Like when they decide to tame it, they all look at him like he's crazy. Like,
Sure.
"Oh yeah, I'm going to tame that thing." And it's just like, what again, what person in a horror movie goes, "I'm going to tame the monster?" I've
Yeah.
like
yeah,
everybody's more like, "I'm going to run away from it." Hence, the Kiki Palmer's character and the knockoff Geek Squad. Elect,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
the
yeah. The
knockoff
knockoff
Geek
geeks.
Squad guy. So
Did
it, it,
you
it
enjoy that Jordan got to get his Akira slide in there with the motorcycle?
yeah, that
Mhm.
was
Mm,
the Akira slide was pretty good. It doesn't make
Yep.
any sense, but it was all right.
He just wanted to
Um,
do it.
yeah,
he just went.
and I thought for a second the one camera guy from TMZ that comes in, I was waiting for him to be like a more effective character because his helmet was reflective,
Right.
and then he just ends
Mm,
up being like nothing. He just
Just
ended
gets
up being
taken. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was
So
kind of a random throwaway character there, huh?
well,
It
yeah,
was.
they're waiting for it, but yeah,
Yeah.
now, yeah, it's an excellent movie. I loved Nope. It makes me want. Excuse me. It makes me want to watch his other movies, but
You should.
I I
You
know I
should.
have to take that kind of like with. I don't know.
I
You
don't
said
think
you guys.
none of his movies I don't think are overly scary.
They're not overly scared. The other two movies are scarier
Right. It's more like
than
it's
this
more
one.
tension than it is jump
It
scares.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of built up like you're on edge like, "Oh my god," the whole time.
I don't know if I'll ever watch Midsommar. Like that movie didn't
Eh,
interest me whatsoever. Like where Nope did, but like This Is Us, which I know like you guys have both said, or I know Craig in the
Us.
Giants
Yep.
jerseys.
It's
Yeah,
just. It's
Us.
just.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, Us. Um, do you both agree that maybe that's his best work so far? Or
I liked. I liked Get Out.
Us is my
oh,
least
Um.
favorite.
there's also Get Out. I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
Get
and
Out's my favorite.
He didn't do Midsummer though.
No.
Oh, I thought he was associated with Midsommar.
No,
Nope.
Midsummer was the or Midsommar was the person who did oh my gosh.
The Witch.
Uh The Witch,
Yep.
but also there was the oh, it was the movie, it was one of the exercising movies, the one where the mom's like possessed at the end. Oh, why can't I think of it now?
I know what you're talking about, but I'm blanking.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up while you.
But yeah.
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead. Yeah, you look it up.
for me, Get Out is his best. For me, it's Get Out, Nope, and Us. That's like my personal ranking as far as
Okay,
his
so I should
movies.
start with Get Out.
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
his first one. Get Out's great, and it is like there's not. I can't really think of any like jump scare wise in his movies. He doesn't
Hereditary.
really, yeah, he doesn't really use jump scares that much. He's all about building that tension to make you
Okay.
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Tension, artistic, and
Yep,
like it was said earlier, on purpose. Everything is on purpose. There's
everything.
a
Yeah,
lot. If you pay attention, it brings stuff gets brought up later, either in artistic value or some type of homage to what happened earlier. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
you'll be left thinking with with the other two, just like you were with this one.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Okay. Cool. And
Right.
then I'll just quickly talk about Dragon Age Absolution for a little bit. It is a 6-part Dragon Age series from Netflix based on the Dragon Age series. Very D&D inspired, which seems to be something heavily being popularized right now. Um, who would have thought that at this point in 2022 D&D doesn't mean like you're a total nerd and in the closet. Like
I
there's
know.
tons
Got a
there's
movie coming
tons of
out.
yeah, there's a movie coming out with there's this Dragon Age, there's Dragon's Blood as well, which is also like very medieval kind of sorcery, like D&D almost inspired in a way. I'm surprised I'm liking these shows. If I had to like rank them, I do want to say I find that Dragon Age Absolution is the weakest. I'd still suggest if you're looking for something along these lines, watch Dragon Blood instead. The story, I believe, is a lot better in that one. But this one only has 6 episodes, 30 minutes. There isn't a lot of time to kind of get, I guess, fundamental or get connections with the characters. But for Dragon Age fans, it's just awesome for them to see something based on their series when they're still waiting, for the next Dragon Age game and to hear anything about the next Dragon Age game as well. So good for them.
Yeah, true.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys don't
Craig,
have to watch that one. You guys could skip that one.
Craig, did you love Troll as much as me?
I did. You did a
Okay.
great job describing it last week, so I don't
Okay.
really need to go much into it. But as far as, I mean, I'm the kind of guy that likes that kind of stuff. Growing up with Godzilla, and my dad showing me the different versions of King Kong, and uh, it was great. It was a well done monster flick. It had good humor in it. Like the one instance where the guy's like, "Do you have any military experience?" to the scientist, and the guy's like, "Call of Duty,"
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I felt like he was talking to some people like us in terms of that.
Yep.
But the troll was great. It was I like how they had it act like an animal, and how once again mankind is
It's,
the reason why things are large and why they attack us.
yep.
It's just that. They tell us don't drill in a mountain. We drill in a mountain. They tell us trolls don't exist. And in this particular instance, they do. And then it stomps on us, but like accidentally. Like this was one of the more tame, with purpose monsters, other than just killing everything because it's probably angry at what we do. It's a good movie. I'm I'm surprised that what I will say about it, and not to drudge on too long, is that I am surprised that it is getting the reception that it is, because in my mind movies like this are like horror movies where they shouldn't, well, historically they don't get high marks because of just what they are as a base. So to see it get because isn't it like ridiculous on Rotten Tomatoes right now what the
It's
score
like a
is? Or
98 or something.
I like to see that. That's
Hmm.
refreshing to me. I enjoy that. It's on paper shouldn't get stuff like that based off the genre it represents. We've seen what the Godzilla movies have gotten,
Yeah.
and Skull Island, King Kong and King Kong Skull Island, and then King Kong versus Godzilla, and how they pump millions and millions of dollars in there, have okay acting, and then like 1 10-minute scene where you actually see the monsters like really at the end. This one I think was better
Yeah.
than a lot of other large monster destroying small town movies that I've seen. And Norwegian film,
Hmm.
you gotta hand it. You gotta hand it to the Scandinavian, like just as a whole and what they release,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's just time after time. The way I feel about horror movies in terms of Asian horror, like it's the same way I feel about Scandinavian just movie releases. They're just consistently interesting to me, and I think they land better. And that could be a topic for another segment that we
Sure.
do, or we could or could not do not have to do. But like, I just find myself gravitating to their movies as well. And I find myself, I'm glad you told me about Troll, because that one slipped under the radar. That's something I've just noticed about that as well. But great movie. You were right. Watch it if you like large things destroying us, you know, as we should be destroyed by nature.
Yeah.
So
Totally deserve it in that movie for sure.
speaking of large things destroying, how was Black
Oh
Adam?
God. Okay. So Black Adam, obviously there's a little bit of controversy right now around this movie, right? The Rock unfollowed the Black Adam account, and also turned down an offer to be in Shazam 2. So I don't know if he's trying to distance himself or if he's just like fed up with DC with everything going on, because there's a lot going on with DC right now. The movie itself, the best way I can describe it is that it took me 4 sittings to get through.
Oof.
It's
Whoa.
it's it's not a terrible movie. It's just so forgettable and so generic that I just could not bring myself to care enough to get through it in one sitting. Um, I really can't look at it objectively and be like that was a bad movie, because it wasn't. It's just so like, I don't know. I think I'm spoiled by Marvel, but even so, like DC just came off of the Batman, which was phenomenal, and Suicide Squad, which was phenomenal, and this was supposed to be like the next big thing, and it's just like the Rock's is he's just the Rock, you know? Like everything he does, he's just the Rock. And in this one, he's the Rock with superpowers. And like Black Adam is a cool comic book character. He really is. Um he's like kind of like Superman, right? Like he flies. He's like invincible and all that. And like even the side characters, like Pierce Brosnan's in this, and like all those characters are cool. It's just when you put them all together, I was just kind of like, you know, eh. It's, I mean, it's on. I think it's on. What's it on now? HBO or
Yeah,
Paramount or
HBO
something.
Max. I didn't
Okay,
think it was out until recently, so I haven't watched it yet,
yeah.
but I'll be
It
watching
was
it
just
this
this
week.
week that they popped it on there, and
Okay.
it's just like, I don't know, like it's forgettable. It really is, and like hopefully James Gunn can take this DC universe and correct it. And I know everybody's kind of like, I don't know if it's upset or whatever, like Henry Cavill out as
Oh,
Superman.
people are
What?
upset.
Yeah, Wonder
People are
Woman 3,
upset.
like Wonder Woman 3 axed. You know, The Rock doesn't want to be in Shazam, even though Black Adam ties directly into Shazam, like directly. He doesn't want to be involved in that. So like there's a lot going on, and I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. So I think he'll turn it around. But I don't know. It's kind of like when I watch Aquaman, where you just finish the movie and you're like, yeah, it was okay. You know, it's not something that
That's
I'm
a,
gonna watch probably again, but it's fine. Yeah, I expected more out of it because it was so hyped up. I was like, yeah, this is the one that's gonna really bring DC back into it. It's not. It's just
it's
not. Um, and then the Fablemans. This is Steven Spielberg, loosely based on his growing up and getting into filmmaking. It's a movie about making films, a kid growing up and being obsessed with making films. This is an Oscar movie for sure, right?
Yeah.
It's that time of year where these movies come out, and like I enjoyed it. I thought it was done very well. It looks fantastic. It's shot well. Um, but if you're not the type of person who's into Oscar movies, you know, like that you can tell you get to a certain scene and you're like, oh, they filmed this for the Oscar reel, you know? Like it's like that
yeah.
dialogue that like super impactful, and like somebody's crying and you're like, ooh, this was that moment. This is that trying to get an award moment. That's what this movie is. And like I love Steven Spielberg, so I'll watch whatever he does. But yeah, I liked it. I can't say that like it's not for everybody, but if you enjoy movies like we all do, and it was cool to see like not exactly how Steven Spielberg grew up, but like how he became involved in making movies and all, and the process that went into making movies back then, with like the film and cutting the film physically and figuring out
Yeah.
like when he's a kid making a war movie and he figured out to make the guns look like they're shooting by like uh taking a pin and poking holes in the film. Like to me, that's cool. Like that kind of stuff is cool. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Everybody did a good job as far as acting wise. And it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours, 40 minutes, something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I had to pay for it, but I thought it was cool for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can't tell a story like his in
Yeah.
an hour and a
No,
half.
no, for sure.
No.
Well, all right. Was there anything else anybody wanted to mention or talk about?
Unless you want to talk more about Kingdom Hearts.
No,
You're
no.
funny. One thing I did
You're
want to
funny.
mention, the one thing I did want to mention though, I'm in the same way because we didn't really talk about the James Gunn stuff at all.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm also in the same boat as to where I hope James Gunn can get everything on the right track. Like my main reason for believing in James Gunn is I did not care at all about the Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yep.
he made me care about them. And then in 2,
Yeah,
it
you did.
kind of grows, and in 3, it's going to have its conclusion. And I feel like James Gunn knows how to like take it step by step here. And
Mhm.
I was talking to this with a bunch of friends this weekend as well, but I don't feel like DC does not need to hurry to their Avengers and, Avengers Endgame stuff. Take
Yep.
your time cuz like right now I think is the perfect time for DC to like get their act together because everybody's been talking about how this next phase of Marvel hasn't been as good as the first. So,
Mhm.
if you build up everything and you get to the payoff, I feel like eventually you'll get like DC will eventually get there. Their heroes are just as popular, if not more popular in some regions of the world
I think
here.
they're more popular, like
Eh,
Superman and Batman.
That's what I
Iconic.
mean. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like in Costa Rica, like where my like me and my mom were born, it's DC there. It's not Marvel. Like
Mhm.
you grew up on DC there. And that's why a part of me kind of just hopes I want to see DC begin to come back and begin to maybe,
Sure.
show its form. Because we barely got the Snyder film like thing. And yeah, I did love the Snyder film, but not everybody's sitting through 4 hours of
Yeah.
reshoots and doing all this. You need to get it right the first time. And
Yeah, that's true.
they have an opportunity here, and I think James Gunn is going to attempt to. Like
Yeah.
the Wonder Woman series, in all honesty, is a little bit messy.
Yep.
Especially
Mm.
with like I loved the first one, besides the villain was pretty weak. Um, or what 1984 is the next one. That
Mm.
one was pretty
Not
all over
great.
the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, despite the fact that I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have to see where it goes. Yes, it sucks for Henry Cavill. Like I did read a lot about this over the week about how he dropped The Witcher to play Superman. Now he's been cut from Superman and he can't go back to The Witcher. He did end up like he is going to be the lead and apparently an Amazon Warhammer
Yep. And
TV
Yeah.
he
show. So like
loves Warhammer.
like
Yes.
he's gonna
I saw
find
that.
himself back to wherever he needs to be. Like Henry Cavill is that good of an actor, but it
Yep.
just kind of sucks to see that people loved him as Geralt and people loved him as Superman, and now you're not getting either.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is like his agent's fault for like, oh yeah, they want you to be Superman, and then the day came and James Gunn is like, nope, you ain't Superman no more. So
Yeah.
it is all over the place, and I'm not sure how it worked out, but I understand people's frustration. People loved Henry Cavill as Superman. I just find that it sucks that is two characters that I enjoyed him as. I loved him as Geralt. I wish he stayed as Geralt, but that's not gonna happen anymore.
Yep.
So it's just like whatever he finds himself in, I will watch just because I feel like
Yes.
he is that good. And
To
who
get the
knows? There's
support.
yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? And there is talks about him being a James Bond.
Yeah.
I am completely okay with it. He would be a completely different James Bond from I think all the others because Henry is a muscly, you know,
Yeah.
masterpiece is what I'm gonna put it as.
Yes,
So,
he's a masterpiece.
so keep that in mind. But anything you guys want to comment about that at all? Or
I'm good.
No, you hit it right.
cool. All right. So, thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the podcast. Please make sure to review it on your podcast listening platform of choice. And please make sure to follow us on our social media platforms with Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Mostly Twitter and Instagram is what I'll say. And please make sure to share it with your friend if you think they'd like it. And then if you're interested in sending us an email, we have an email at highsensitivitypodcast@gmail.com. Again, we appreciate all the listening and be ready because game of the year stuff is coming up for us.
Yep.
We're getting hyped up
Oh
for it.
yeah, give me your stuff.
Be prepared for a lot of drops from us. It's a very exciting time. And we'll be talking again soon. Bye.
Bye guys.